Algernon and Binky are slamming him back and having donuts and energy shakes.
Well, what's the point of scrambling to try to save your life, you know?
You
Right,
know,
you're going down with the ship.
you're going
Yeah.
down with the ship. I say,
The
Binky,
world's about to end. Just break out into a big ol' orgy.
I think we've bought it.
Because
Yes.
why the fuck not?
ALPHANUMERIC! ReBoot! Bob made me a guardian to mend and defend. That's my job now. And what am I supposed to be?
Hey, we ask the questions around here.
Never mind. It will be glorious.
Over here, big boy.
You've got to face the facts, Sugar. Bob's not here. We're down a guardian and on our own.
What's up, sprites, and welcome to episode 39 of Alphanumeric, a reboot podcast where we discuss every episode of Reboot from beginning to end, from season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, and maybe the other one that no one really wants to remember. I'm your host, AP Sniddler, and with me...
And NeoKal is here. Hello.
LadyGlitch is here. Hey.
And I'm your fourth and fourthest host, Christopher Siege.
Awesome. Today.
The fourth to be reckoned with.
The fourth. Jesus. Okay.
Alphanumeric, the fourth awakens.
Today we are discussing the 16th and final episode of season 3. It's called End Prog. Original air date January 24th, 1998. And yes, let's get down to it.
Yeah, this was an interesting one because this was originally supposed to just be the final episode of Reboot, and I think that's why it ends with a big stupid musical number,
which I'm actually rather fond of.
Oh,
I am.
All right, Christopher Siege already getting saucy here. But yeah, this, and I remember watching this episode when it originally aired, when I would have been 13 at the time, and I was very confused that the show kind of just ended, because even at that age, I was like, well, what about all that Damon stuff and the Guardians and whatnot?
Yeah,
they dropped that yesterday's garbage.
Yes. Yesterday's old.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yesterday's old bananas.
Yeah, there we go.
That's that phrase, right?
I was actually thinking that too, and then I'm like, oh, there's another season.
Yeah.
Silly me. In my head, I'm going through one by one,
Mm-hmm.
and this just felt like the end of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh right, the Damon's shit.
Yes.
I feel like they could have wrapped up Reboot as a whole with 3 seasons with this episode, but no.
Yeah.
Halfway through season 3, they had to say something about Damon. Had to do that kind of shit.
Yeah, I didn't really see it necessary for me, anyways. I mean, this could have been it, but hey, we'll see.
Well, here we are.
Well, and indeed, back in the day, after this episode aired, I was like, oh, okay, Reboot's done. What about all that, like I said, what about all that Damon and Guardian bullshit? But I was like, okay, well, whatever. And then just moved on with my life. And then I found out several years later, it's like, oh, there's a 4th season. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which in Canada aired as 2 TV movies, not a 4th season, which I'll talk about more when we get into season 4.
Yeah.
Well, that explains why I didn't even know this existed.
Mm-hmm.
The 4th season existed.
No.
Yeah, now down here in the States, they aired it as individual episodes on Toonami, but it was 3 years later that they decided to do that. So it was back in 2001 for me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize. Huh. Well, that explains why I had no idea there was a mysterious 4th season.
Mm-hmm. And now you know.
Yeah. And knowing
is half the battle.
Half the battle.
Yeah.
Yo, Joe! Okay. All right.
A real American hero, G.I. Joe is there.
Did you know, apparently, according to a certain show that Christopher and I were just discussing earlier, G.I. Joes were popular in Japan?
Hmm.
which is weird.
Considering the
That-
history.
Soldiers, toys of American soldiers would be popular in Japan in the following decade or two, following World War II. But
Yeah, some stuff happened there.
some
It-
stuff.
Yeah.
It's all about Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow.
Yeah.
Yes.
But what? Those are good wrestling names too.
Well, actually, there's a funny wrestling connection with G.I. Joe too, because like the WWF pro wrestler from the '80s, Sergeant Slaughter, actually became a G.I. Joe,
Yeah.
and he even voiced himself in the cartoon.
Yeah. Isn't that rad? Who can say that? Who can say that? Other than that guy.
That's like that is the ultimate combination of awesomeness. Like fucking WWF pro wrestler and literal G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
Like how did like I dare anyone to top that. Can't be done. I'm saying it now.
I mean, reboot comes pretty
Can't be done.
close.
I strongly disagree, but
Just for the sake of getting him back on track here. All right.
yeah. Speaking of
So what
reboot,
the heck's happening here?
We got a lot of
Everybody's
storm
everybody's desolate. The mainframe is a shell of its former self. Everyone's dying and coughing.
Yeah, there's patrols. There's everybody's taking shelter in the principal office. Lineups at the washroom. There's overrun medical facilities. It's a
chaos.
mess. It's just a mess. There's a
it's
big
a big
lineup to
ol'
the bathroom.
big old refugee camp.
Yeah.
Yep.
Keeps cutting to a girl like spying on, or not spying, but looking at the main cast, the main characters, and I'm like, what's the significance of the camera continuously focusing on this girl?
I think it's basically our heroes are discussing the fact that mainframe is pretty much fucked and
Yeah.
there's nothing they can do. And I think the significance of that is that the public that they're probably not telling this to is overhearing it. Like this
Right.
girl's overhearing that, like, you know, it's bad news bears.
A lot of the first chunk of this episode is just sad
Yeah.
for no reason and doesn't really progress the plot and slow moving. I feel like the sad part could have been condensed into like 8 minutes, and then they could have had the wholesome part be the last like 20.
Right.
Instead,
yeah,
they
I
did it
get
the other
that.
way around. They made the first 20 minutes like depressing, and then just the last little 5-minute chunk like wholesome. And I'm like, why?
Well, without getting like too far ahead, like I will make the argument that literally nothing fucking happens in this episode.
I feel like that for big chunks of it. Like that's why I kind of yada yada. They're not like there's nothing to really go over here.
Yeah, there's nothing there's nothing in all of this really worth like being analytical about. Like it's just
A game even comes in and like they ignore it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
'cause
Enzo's
Bob-
like, fuck this, I need to go.
Yeah, I had that written down as well because it's like we have to go, I have to go, and he's making it all about him again.
but I think he's bound by his guardian code.
Oh, absolutely.
And Bob is basically like, no, we can't. And Enzo's like, no, we need to. And Bob's like, no, I have an idea. I think if we let the game come down and don't intervene and the user wins, then it will finally push the system over the edge to cause
Make it
the system
crash.
Yeah.
to cause the system to crash, and then hopefully that will cause a system reboot.
Right.
And
I'm just wondering when
that's
the
what
last
happens.
time.
There we go.
when
There's
the-
the episode.
Well, so long, folks. I've been one of your hosts.
Shortest episode ever.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder how
I have a sneaking
like,
suspicion this
one of
might
those-
end up being our shortest episode of the podcast ever.
Sniddler and I like journalist bullet pointed an episode one time, and it was like 42 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
Was
something
that,
like
what was
that.
that
It was
Trust
like an
No One?
hour and 10.
Oh, was it actually that long?
Yeah.
Oh, for some reason I thought it was like 40. Oh, so that's not that unusual.
Yeah. Trust no
So what's
one.
going on here? So nobody goes in the game.
So this is basically
Right.
end times continued. That's what this is.
Yep. So
Yeah.
the GameCube lands, and then
Yeah.
Bob and Matrix are just like, "What have we done? Like, fuck, we went against our Guardian code
Mm-hmm.
by not going into a game." And then Fong and Dot are like, "We need to get all the active PIDs into the system just in case we get the chance to reboot or the user
Yeah.
decides to reboot."
Mm-hmm.
So they're typing away, doing all their techie shit.
Techie.
So I have some IRL questions about this.
Okay.
Okay.
So mainframe has been falling apart for however long under Megabyte's rule.
Right.
Mhm.
What does that look like for the user? Like, you got to imagine that's like completely
Right.
fucking his computer up. So why has he waited all this time to actually like defrag his hard drive?
Maybe got lazy.
Okay, so
Some people
I have
do.
a story
Okay.
that I've told. I haven't told any of you this story yet.
Okay.
So I have a friend, and they take apart like clean phones. They're not like a professional or anything like that, right? But like
Yeah.
he's software and hardware savvy enough, right? And he worked at the hotel where I worked, right? And he was telling me the story because I was like, oh, well, nobody would do that when I was talking about like a computer, right? And he's like, well, I have a friend, and his I have a friend, and him and his girlfriend were complaining about their like tablet. Yeah, I think it was a tablet. This is like 7 years ago or something like that. Tablet that like was slowing down or like whatever, and it was like one of the newer ones, right?
Yeah.
It was like this, and he's like, oh, okay, well,
It was an
can I
iPad too.
can I can I take a look at it? So he finds out, he's like, what is this? And he's like, oh, this is like a Pro or whatever. And he's like, no, it's not, it's this. He's like, yeah, it is. The person over like Facebook, like the Facebook, what's
Marketplace.
it called? Marketplace, like said so. And he's like, he just doesn't say anything, and he's like, oh, okay. So one, it's outdated, so the apps are going to run slowly anyway. And he's like, okay, well, just reset it for me and then turn it back on with the password, whatever, and then I'll take a look at it. And he's like, oh, okay. So he goes and he presses just the screen power button, waits a couple seconds, and then presses it again. And he's like, oh, can you restart it for me? And he's like, I did. And he just like looks at him, right? And stares at him. He thinks restarting his phone or tablet is turning the screen off and then turning it back on.
Shit.
So he goes in to it, right? No password. He goes in and he checks, and I can't remember what section this is. You can check this on your phone or whatever electronic device, but it says hours since last restart.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
And he looked, and it was like thousands.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Wow.
Holy.
He had never restarted this thing. So he
This-
restarted it. It did like a software, like a whole like generation of software updates, right? And he was like, hands it back to him. It takes like 10 minutes, whatever, right? And he's like, oh, wow, like some of these apps actually like work now. And it's like way faster. It was still slow as fuck, apparently, but compared to like what it was.
Yeah.
Holy.
And he's like, wow, you really are a tech genius.
Wow. I think he's the
Fucking
user.
wizardry right there.
This is the user who thinks turning off his computer is leaning forward and turning the monitor off. And he's never
This
restarted.
was done in a time where people were still very computer illiterate. Maybe this is right. Maybe that's a correct
You've seen
analysis.
what games this user plays.
Yes.
Other than that
Probably
fighting
is-
game,
Probably like his grandson or something. I don't
That's
know.
the thing. So his grandson played that fighting game, which is why
Yeah.
Enzo lost. But otherwise, they just play this like weird World War II simulator that they're really bad at.
Yeah. So
And like
that's
a
it.
clown game.
Well,
Yep.
remember that in my head canon, this computer is like an
Right.
office cubicle computer.
Oh, that would make sense why it's been never turned off.
The user just doesn't care enough.
Yeah. Just blame the boss.
Mhm.
That's actually
Nobody restart the computers because something screws up when it tries to update Acrobat Reader.
Yeah.
Actual thing that happened at my work.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to restart the computers because it would automatically update Acrobat Reader, Adobe.
Yeah.
And then some functions of the computer just wouldn't work.
Interesting.
And this is a fun part. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I'm throwing them under the bus. For months, like this went on, right? And people complained. They hired IT guys, paying them hundreds of dollars just to show up, right? They did some shit, didn't work. My coworker doesn't work with computers. You know, she's just a person that understands our skill asset. Christopher and I have talked about this as millennials, is that we're not afraid to just fucking Google shit.
Right.
So she Googled, oh, blah, blah, blah. This happens when it resets. Huh. Got some answers, not really. But what she did is she just opened the settings for Adobe on both of the office computers, the front desk at the hotel, because one was fine and the other we weren't allowed to restart, right? She opened it up, like changed tabs, looked at one, looked at the other, changed tabs, looked at one, looked at the other. Oh, this box isn't checked. Check the box.
Yeah,
And
so
that was it. So
so
something
she
that
just
applied
compared what was different
by
between
bringing up both of them, seeing what was checked and like what wasn't.
Yeah.
She
Wow.
fixed
That's
it.
what I would do.
This plague. Yeah. She
Yeah.
fixed this. Oh, and I just didn't fucking care because I thought it was hilarious. This plague cost like about $1,000. Management, accounting, the hired IT guys. Nobody could figure it out. But my friend Jessica opened it up, took about 5 minutes, and just clicked some boxes, and it was like,
Give
oh,
that
there we
woman a
go.
Who
fucking
are the
raise.
hired IT guys?
Serious. No, I'm serious.
I'm,
Like,
I'm actually very serious.
you should get a fucking raise for that.
Yeah.
She should, but oh man, have any of you worked in the corporate office space?
Ish.
No.
Kind
No,
of.
I haven't.
Yeah.
Basically, that was so
I've worked
humiliating for people. They
T-Mobile,
just didn't want to
USA,
talk
and
to
Bell
it.
before.
They basically just tried to not acknowledge it, their own incompetence, and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I
if
worked
you
for
praise her in any way, then that makes everyone look bad. So they just like quietly said and did nothing.
Yeah, I worked for a very large restaurant in Washington, D.C., and I was the reservationist, but I also had to play tech person. So anytime our downstairs computers would go down, I was basically summoned by my immigrant Irish GM to come down, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, you have to reboot your computer to get it to work again. So the fact that he always had to call me down and he didn't take the time to learn from me so he could do it on his own was kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
It's like that generation has that learned helplessness thing going on. Like they don't.
It's funny
bother
because
to
they're
learn.
also the ones that say that we have the learned helplessness.
Exactly. It's like convert this to PDF, motherfucker.
That's what I thought. Well, now we've cracked the code, ladies and gentlemen. This computer has just never been restarted in like years.
We have cracked the Guardian code, if you will.
So what happens after this game comes down? Everyone's sad, shaking in their booties.
Yeah, pretty much. Sad Enzo motif comes on at some point.
There's a lot of sad Enzo music and very intense sad Enzo music.
Mouse and Ray are walking around.
Yeah, trying to calm the natives down.
Yeah. And things start shaking.
Like literally
nothing.
Like,
nothing fucking happens in this episode.
So
Holy shit.
So there's one thing that I find interesting. Ray turns to Mouse when they're walking and he's like, I could just take you away from all of this, right?
I suppose you
Yeah.
could.
That's the douchiest fucking thing.
I know.
I
Yeah,
can
And I'm
feel bad,
surprised she's still
sometimes
attracted to
they
him
look.
after that. She just brushes it off.
Well,
Yeah.
But he's basically
he
like, hey, we
saves
could
it
just
right
leave all
after
these
that.
people to die.
Yeah.
You know, do you just
Yeah.
want to come with me and we'll like fucking surf and bone and like just peace out? That's what he's saying.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
That
And
is. So I'm like,
And then he throws the line of everybody has to be somewhere. I particularly like it right here. And then you hear the mouse like vibraphone motive in the back. It's like, hey.
my partner was like, I thought he liked Andrea. And I was like, he's a man who likes women in general. I'm sure he's hit on Dot at some point.
Yeah, it didn't work. I mean, it didn't work out with Andrea, so he just moved on to the next one.
Yeah.
He likes live and just chill, you know. He
Yeah.
doesn't want any of that drama, man.
He just wants to surf.
Too rock and
I'm just
roll,
here to
you
like,
know.
catch like sick waves and like talk to babes. I must have been from California in a past life. Oh wait, it's all the California music.
Well,
I listened to
you do
growing
have
up.
the Polly Shore hair going on. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And you've got a Hollywood Boulevard t-shirt going on there.
There we go.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Totally. In the 90s.
This is extra
In the 90s.
alphanumerical, buddy.
It's pixelation.
Oh!
Ooh.
You look like you just came out of Universal Studios Hollywood.
Weezing the juice.
All natural Capri Sun. I don't know.
We should actually cover Encino Man
I really
or
think we should. Yeah.
Biodome on one of
Oh,
Yeah, that
buddy.
could be a two.
Please.
Those could
Even
be
in the
too
army
much
now would
commentary.
suffice. Yeah.
Fucking Encino Man.
We got to figure
love-
out what we're
I
doing
don't-
for August's too much commentary.
I don't care what anybody says. I love Encino Man. That was just I love Pauly Shore. I actually had a dream.
Pauly Shore.
I had a dream that I was partying with Pauly Shore, and I think kind of want to make it happen in real life because that was fucking awesome.
You know what? Fuck it, because there's nothing happening in this episode. I too had a dream.
That's kind of what I'm
Oh, Pauly Shore. Holy shit.
So I had a dream I was doing security, and I was on the roof of like a very high-rise like building, right?
Yeah.
And there's like a fenced-off tennis court, like little garden area. It's kind of like where middle to upper class people kind of hang out. And I was going up one building, and it's close enough to another high-rise that there's just like there's a shared total rooftop with like little bridges that kind of walk past, right? And somebody was like fumbling with their keys, like coming through or like whatever, and I was like, it was Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Right, and he had a black leather jacket and like sunglasses, even though it was like midnight, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, oh
He
hey,
wears his sunglasses at night.
I was like, oh hey, Jeff Goldblum, and he was like, oh, get the fuck out of my way, I don't have time for this.
Rude.
And I was just like security, and I was like, holy shit, dude, this is a dream, right? And I'd be cool if it wasn't. Anyways, the dream kind of yada yadas, and then he ends up coming back like later on in the night, and he's a little bit tipsy and stuff, and he's like, hey man, I just want to say like blah blah blah. I'm like, sorry, and I
Yeah.
I got this I got a joint if you want to hang out and partake. And so me doing security sat down on like this like twinkling like stars like rooftop, like next to like this tennis court and like whatever, and
Yeah.
just like talked about like crazy shit and like smoked a joint. And I had this dream, and I had never smoked before in my life either. And that's like one of the
That's so
trippiest,
funny.
most realistic dreams I've ever had, and I'm sad it's not true.
I got this joint.
I got this.
what,
Oh, real good.
real
Good joint.
Real good stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's it, folks.
That's my horrible Jeff Goldblum impression.
So
Okay.
apparently
else is-
Bob has insisted that for the system reset, hexadecimal be given a PID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fong is all like, I can't believe I'm giving a PID to a virus.
It's all madness. Absolute
And she's
utter
like,
madness.
But
Madness.
Fong, I brought biscuits. And it looks like they're made out of binomes.
It's Aerodoctor and Bunnyfoot.
And Bunnyfoot, yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
So
multiple of them.
Mhm.
So she turned them into a bunch of, what would you say that is? Gingerbread
Biscuits.
men?
Yeah.
Gingerbread binoms.
Yeah, they kind of look like gingerbread.
Ginger
And I'm like, yeah,
binoms.
I'm okay with her turning them into gingerbread.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They've got like little eyes though. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Sprinkles, too.
And I kind of like her showing up in this episode. It's one of the small redeeming
Mhm.
factors I find.
Yeah.
And I like that her face is animated too. I thought that would be jarring and bad, but
Mhm.
it's
I
fine.
like it.
Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, I do like it a lot.
User wins, folks.
Yeah,
Yep.
so Fong concedes, gives her a PID, and she's like, "Ooh, where do I pin it?"
Yeah.
Which I
I was
thought.
watching this, I was like, cleavage. Come on.
Maybe her.
Yeah, user wins, and we get a whole bunch of shots of people being sad because warning system crash.
Yeah, then the system
the only-
literally starts to crash.
Yeah, the only thing really noteworthy in this that I think is Scott McNeil, like single glass binome. Specky, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specky like sees Princess Mongo and like puts his arm around her, and he like looks up
Pets him.
at her, and she like pets him, and I'm
I
like,
love that.
I'm like, that's
cute.
really cute.
I do. I really like that.
Love finds a way.
Wow.
I
Much
love
like
the
life.
scene where we see Capacitor. He just looks so sad, but
Mr.
Mr. Christopher
Christopher.
has like no more beans to count, so he just chucks his fucking
Yeah.
computer away.
They all just like, all right, let's get pissed.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this on Crave, and like the amount of times that the closed caption has said somber music playing in this episode so far, and we're only like 10 minutes in.
That's a good TLDR. Somber music plays.
How is
cheers.
dissonant electric guitar music somber? Because you can hear
Sometimes.
that in the background as everything's
Sometimes.
crashing. It ain't somber.
Well,
It's heavy. It's heavy.
It ain't. Hey,
It's heavy.
it ain't.
I
heavy.
do not program the closed captions for Canadian
Oh.
exclusive streaming service, Crave.
There's Mr. Mitchell with his
Mr.
wife and girlfriend. He's getting drunk with old Pearson.
sauced.
Old man
other-
Pearson, you old dog.
Let's get silly.
No, that's roller skates guy.
No, roller skates guy is this.
Yeah, that's the same voice you just
that's
used.
roller. No, I don't think so.
I don't know. Wait, they're throwing food at poor Cecil.
Yes.
Fuck off.
Pretty much. Cecil didn't do anything. Shit.
Yeah.
He's had a hard enough life as it is, damn it.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, at least he's allowed to leave the diner now.
Yeah.
The diner
So
has now fallen into the
there's-
energy.
um
And Mouse takes her shot, so.
yeah,
She dips Ray.
yeah,
Yep.
Yep.
Enzo and Andrea embrace. Bob and Dot are about to embrace. Mouse dips and kisses the Silver Surfer.
I do like that
I-
Dot
and,
and Bob don't actually kiss.
Yeah, they just look at each other and they're holding that moment.
Yeah.
Because we lead into scene goes to black, but you have that thing of uncertainty right there. It's like,
Yeah.
what's going to happen?
Well,
Yeah.
they don't want that to be the time
Right.
they kiss, right?
Uh-huh. It just leaves people like me that totally enjoy the Bob Dot thing. It's like, come
I was
on,
like, come on.
suspense.
Yeah.
Do it.
Right? Yeah, I was like, come on.
But I love that
and the
Bob
screen's
reaches
black.
out to hold her hand. And it's just like, oh. As I'm looking at it now, and it's like, he's so cute.
And there's like a boot screen,
Yep.
a command prompt.
Yep.
And it says system crash, restart, YN. And you know it's an old person using the computer or a really young person, because when it's like YN, they type in YES.
Yeah, yeah.
This is like some Matrix shit.
Yeah.
I half expected it to be like, wake up, Neo. Wake up, Bob. Follow the white rabbit.
Yeah.
So after they say yes to
Wake
both
up, Mr.
prompts, we
Anderson.
get a warning incoming data announcement, and boom, everything goes gold. Everything's pretty.
Everything
Boom.
starts flickering and it comes back to life.
Yeah.
Incoming data.
And the
And
sky opens.
the sky opens. There's like
sparkly
firework thingies or something.
Yeah. It reminds me a lot of season 2, episode 1, Infected, with that incoming data file for the upgrade.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The last and only time the user updated their computer.
Yup.
So the visual here,
Yeah.
I could be way off base, but the visual here actually kind of reminds me of Midgard post Ragnarok. So after Ragnarok, basically the world is going to be reborn by like a golden disc coming down onto the world and breathing new life into it.
There's some philosophical, mythological, like you have to have faith, like having faith in Bob and faith in the user.
Yeah, I don't know that that's necessarily what they were going for, but when I was watching this earlier today, that's what it evoked in my mind.
It's damn close. If that's not it, it's damn close. The analogy.
And it is similar because there is some, what's the proper word, mystical or spiritual resurrection going on.
Yeah, because Fawn even says,
totally.
"Thank the user, we are saved."
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the first thing that gets restored, man, it is so shiny and new. I haven't seen it look like that in a long time. Is the principal office.
Yeah.
Yep. Because that is obviously the core of me. So and you see the sector dropping down.
Yeah, when I was watching this, everything that I wanted to happen was happening like a minute after I had said it. So I was like, oh, but are the other pieces going to be like restored completely too? And then they all start coming down one by one, like the golden blueprints for it before the energy comes from the energy sea and kind of like solidifies it.
It's pretty sweet.
And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. And something that's almost like fireworks shoots out from the middle. It's all very magical.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like Disney World. Kind of.
Yeah, it's like Disney World, goddammit. And people are surprised not only are they not dead, but like the buildings are being restored.
Yeah, and the lights are turning on and everything's
it's like powering up. Yeah.
Yep. It's all shiny and new.
So it's not just restoring things, it's restoring everything to new.
Right.
So as I was watching this, I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if it actually brought back like the people that were dead or deleted?
Boom.
And then as I'm watching it, Megabyte's Tower like comes back, and you see like families and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh shit. Oh, and there's the golf ball, that dumb thing.
Yeah, Bob's apartment comes back, Dot's diner comes back, the Bodway comes back.
Bodway's back, baby. Everything like lights up and powers up again.
Yep.
Mouse and Ray.
All right.
Mouse and Ray Tracer are still making out.
All right. So it's cool that it's not just bringing everything back, it's like restoring it to the way it was when it was pristine.
Yeah. Right. Then later on they do a what the fuck you call it? An antiviral software to see the viral biome.
Now see, go ahead, yeah, because when it reveals it I thought they revealed that really well. Because as I was watching this, I was like, oh, like literally at the part where Frisk gets licking Fong.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if like, Because it shows like the binomes that were dead like starting to come back, right? The ones
Yep.
that were deleted. I'm like,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be cool if like since Megabyte is gone and they were like logging all the PIDs,
Yeah.
like all the viral binomes got
Yeah.
restored?
I love that.
And so, Lady Glitch, you were saying it's showing Chauncey and the spies and stuff all come back, and it made a note of it. I'm like, why is it showing so many? Why is it showing so many viral binomes that when they start going back to normal binomes?
Mhm.
Man, I was so fucking stoked for that.
Yeah.
It gave me everything I wanted. Yeah, I was like, I wanted
Luke.
this because we go back to that girl. The little
Yeah.
like Susie girl, right? And she
Right.
seems sad regardless. And I'm like, oh, why is she sad?
Mhm.
And then we find out that her dad must have been a viral binome
Right.
because
Yeah.
she's reunited with him because he's changed back to a CPU like a cop dude.
Right.
Yeah.
I think even one of them is like Great Norton's ghost.
That was
Yes.
Chauncey.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was
Was it?
Chauncey. Yeah.
Well, and
Norton's
right after he says Great Norton's ghost, that's when the
Yeah.
Silicon Tor disappears.
Mhm.
I liked that. I was like,
Norton
yeah, get the
antivirus.
fuck out of here. Something perplexing happens, and I'll probably explain it in the next season because like I had no idea the next season is. But Fong looks over to Hex, and a
appears,
green light
yeah.
is like illuminating her.
Yep.
So
So
I'm
she got her antiviral software, and she's like, "Ooh, that tickled."
like
telling
she
you this
does.
is for adults.
Uh-huh.
As
Oh
she's
yeah.
like running her hands over her body.
It's quite nice.
It's quite nice.
It's quite nice.
Oh man,
I'll
I
be
was
in
so
my
glad
bunk.
that girl got reunited with her cop
Right?
dad.
That is such a beautiful scene right there.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
yeah.
baby. Oh, dad. Hugs.
And that I was just before that. There was also the kid who watched his parents like fall into the crevice, and
Right.
his,
Yeah.
his parents
were
show
back.
up too, and that was kind of nice. So this is the part of the episode that really
It's I like
I like it.
back too.
Yeah.
Like
The
one of the
Twin
nulls
City.
was there were actually a lot of sprites that like came back too, include Dots and Enzo's dad. Yeah, as becomes apparent when a certain somebody
Yeah.
So
shows up.
everyone's like happy and celebrating, and Bob and Dot finally kiss. And then
Finally. I
Finally.
love it.
Come on.
and then
And Fong is there with the camera.
Heck and
we
or
hear a
Slash
kid's
aren't
voice.
restored though.
Yeah, I thought that was
neither's
kind of
Fong.
weird because they're still thrashed.
Banged up and patched together.
Yeah.
Oh well, they're alive.
I don't think Fong is either, is he?
No, he's still kind of beaten up a bit.
Yeah.
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 The ones that are beaten up stay beaten up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we hear a kid's voice yell out "Bob," and we go to the classic like POV, like close up of like
Oh
Bob's
shit.
face. And fucking kid Enzo like jumps and tackles him.
Mhm.
But like adult Enzo
It's still there,
is
Yeah.
here. Adult Andrea.
and they notice that his PID is still in game sprite mode, which
Yep,
makes me
so he
kind of
wasn't
wonder.
registered.
So why would he be restored then?
I think because
I think he wouldn't have been if it was an ID, a PID
Mhm.
that was for mainframe, but because
Oh.
theirs were in like AI mode,
yes.
it didn't recognize them as part of the system, so it
But
restored
the system crashed though. So why would it restore them?
Y'all remember that TV show called System Crash about the high schoolers that had the radio station?
Wow.
No, actually.
Yes, actually.
Nope. I'm out.
Vaguely.
That was a very 90s show too.
Yeah.
Y'all
holy
remember
crap.
what was that drama with Ryan Gosling that was like a high school on like a cruise ship. Breaker High. Y'all remember Breaker High?
Yes.
I didn't watch it. I remember hearing the name.
I heard about it a lot, but I'd never actually watched it.
I think I remember seeing commercials for it.
For some reason, they both just like went into my head because we've been saying System Crash so much. So yeah, we've got a little Enzo.
And some comical music, according to the closed caption.
Yeah.
So part of me,
I like
part of
the
me
music.
thinks there should be a wait. No, I don't want to ruin the next season for me. But part of me thinks there would be duplicates of other people too. So we'll see when we get to the next season. But I've got some ideas that there might be.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, listeners and co-hosts, like I didn't even know there was a fourth season.
Right, you're going
like
into next
Damon,
season completely blind, so
but they
everything's
never addressed Damon.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to.
I thought there were some shitty movies that I never watched, and that's it.
I want to revisit a quick thing before little Enzo. Right after Bob and Dot have their kiss, finally, woo. Dot looks at Bob and she's like, "Don't ever leave me again." And Bob nods twice. And he says, "I promise." But at the same time, you can also interpret that moment of silence as I'm hesitant to say absolutely because there could be some Guardian shit happening later that I have to go away on, and theoretically I'm leaving you, but
Fong takes a Polaroid of them kissing.
Yeah.
he does. He's got one of those little point and shoot one-time use cameras.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'll save this one for me later."
and they both look at him like, what are you taking pictures of? And he's just like,
he just shrugs.
I know it's a Kodak
disposable camera, folks. That's how you know it's the 90s.
Those things are actually coming back as like a trend in photography.
It's a Photoshop moment.
Yeah, I have a instant camera.
I got one of those.
It's a Kojak moment.
It's a Kojak moment. The film for it is like depressingly expensive though, and I'm looking for a non Polaroid one.
I got you.
Holy shit, is the film expensive? Wow. Wow.
Completely random little bit of information, but my aviator shades that like some of you have seen me wear out in public, they're prescription. They're actually made by Polaroid.
No shit.
Rad.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
Which when I bought them, I was like, oh, really? I had no idea. When I think of Polaroid, I just think of the film and the cameras.
Yeah.
Didn't know they made sunglasses.
Did you know it was it Polaroid or Kodak? Maybe it was Kodak. Kodak had found out that the US was testing nuclear weapons before they had ever publicly like released it or leaked it or like whatever, because their film was reacting to the small amounts of like radiation.
Oh, interesting.
In their storage houses. And not only that, the closer they were to the Nevada testing sites, the more they had. So by looking at their film, seeing what was wrong with it, and going around in a circle outwards, they actually approached the US government and they were like, "Hey, so you guys are testing nukes in the desert right around here, right?" And they were like, "Who are you guys?" And we're like, "We're a camera company." And they were like, "How?" And the undeveloped film, because it can go through metal, it can go through buildings and stuff like that. The closer it was, the more specs there were on the fucking
next thing
film.
you know, like an entire convoy of like military APCs shows up at like Kodak HQ.
ABCs.
But yeah, they approached them and they were like, "Okay, thank you for not going to the papers first. Here's some money to be quiet." And they were like, "Thanks, boss." And they were like, "Also, can you teach us how to do that for completely legal, not spying on other country reasons to see if they're doing the same thing?" So Kodak had like this secret contract with the US military so that the military could have these testing packs that were like huge, specifically so they could give it to spies all around the world to see if they were in proximity to other countries testing nuclear weapons.
Wacky.
Wild stuff.
Yeah,
Wacky
yeah.
stuff.
Speaking of wacky, Mike the TV shows up.
Oh.
Yep. Our credits get cut.
I'm still here, folks. Wait, where are you going?
Oh yeah, I forgot about the fake credit sequence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I liked
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually, when I was watching it earlier, I paused it just to see what the timestamp was, because I was like, that feels shorter than
Me too. Yeah.
it should
Yeah.
be.
Hold up. Hang on. Just a minute.
And so Mike the TV is like talking directly to the camera and is like, "Hey, we've all been restored." Woohoo! Basically.
Here's something by the mainframe strolling players.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And everybody in mainframe like all piles into this like big auditorium where a big ass performance.
I love that Enzo's sitting next to little Enzo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this like big ass performance, essentially recapping the plot of season 3.
Oh, music nerds. What's the
Major General
It's
Song by Gilbert
yeah.
and Sullivan.
Yes. Thank you.
What's it
Yep, I
called?
got you covered. So the song that they're parodying is, like you mentioned, Christopher, it's the I'm a Very Model of a Modern Major General, which comes from the 1879 comic musical Pirates of the Penzance by Gilbert and Sullivan.
Gilbert and Sullivan, yeah.
So what we're going to
Okay.
be listening to is what is called a patter song, and it's based off of a little bit of history for you. The Pater Noster, which is the Lord's Prayer in the Catholic churches. So back in the 16th century, they would just kind of rush the text as fast as they possibly could to get in and out, like most people would.
Huh.
So doing that gave rise to the term patter in England. And it also became a thing in ancient Greek comedies for this type of articulated, super fast tempo, entertaining type of text in a musical or the libretto.
Wait, so the ancient Greeks invented rap?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
So they
And
were
then-
basically like pitter patter, let's get at her.
Pretty
Pitter
much.
patter,
Yeah.
let's get at her.
Yeah, the way that these songs were
I wish you
composed,
weren't so fucking awkward, bud.
Fuck
So-
you, Shorzy.
Hey.
So
We're referencing Letterkenny is what we're doing right now.
It's a Canadian comedy.
Canadian content. You can
Please.
Check
please
it out,
carry
Lady
on.
Glitch. It's on Hulu in
I will.
in the States.
Okay. But the
Please
way that
carry on. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The way that these songs are composed, it's a lot of rhyming text. There's a lot of extra words. There's a lot of alliteration, consonants, vowel sounds that just go together. And they're written for basses and baritones in what's called an opera buffa in Italian. So they're dedicated to these voice parts that are often correlated with a very humorous character, somebody that is obviously comic relief. And you have to be very, very focused in on your enunciation because the tempo is super quick. I actually looked at the score for this song, and it is labeled as Allegro Vivace, which is like super fucking fast.
Yeah.
And Gilbert and Sullivan took after Mozart and Rossini in their operas because they had originally adopted the whole patter rhythm, patter songs in their operas. So this is back in like the 1700s. They bring it into the 1800s, and they just kind of take that and adopt it for their own operas. And even modern day, we can see this in like Tom Lehrer's The Elements song, and Animaniacs, Yakko's World is also based off of this song.
Yeah.
Bare Naked Ladies 1 Week, that's a very wordy song. So there's a lot of different examples in modern day music of this type of rhythm and structure that we're going to be listening to here. Music history lesson done.
Real quick, in Mass Effect 2, the character Mordin Solus does a song to this tune as well.
Oh, sweet.
I love
Cool.
Sol. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a Solarian scientist.
Mhm.
And that is that was a joy when he sings.
Yeah.
I love Mass Effect.
Me too.
Mhm. So everyone's kind of cuddling up in their seats. They're getting ready for the first scene, and then the orchestra just launches, and
They do a pretty good job of summing up season 3.
They do an amazing job with this song and summing up season 3. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I love like when the curtain opens, you see everyone that's kind of like flying cardboard CPUs and ABC.
Yeah. Yeah. So good.
I question what the point of this was, though, because we've already watched all of season 3.
But if you
Christopher, are you allergic to good old fun?
I don't.
Apparently,
I think the point of it
because
is just fun.
Hey, Cyrus is here.
Yeah,
and he's doing a jig. Oh yeah, he's actually doing Highland Dance, yeah. Or sorry, River Dance specifically.
Yeah. And the as you're listening to this,
which was big in the 90s.
It was, wasn't it?
You're absolutely right, yeah.
Forget about that.
Yeah.
The big breaths that the characters take to get into the next phrase, that's actually a thing that happened whenever you get a real life musician that's performing this song. I think it's just something that was written in as kind of a comical cue to take a big breath and then words.
Yeah. It's part of the performance to actually stop and exaggeratingly like taking a deep breath, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because even in the actual score itself, there are pauses, and it says pauses for a next thought, and then they go again.
I don't like the part where oh my god, I'm looking to see how they did Fong. That is fucking hilarious.
It's
There's
so
a zero
good, right?
in him.
Yeah, he's like has a stick,
but he's got a Fong puppet on his like head, and he's just using his hand to move his mouth.
Yep. And then
I just realized that the tempo marker is Scuzzy.
It is Scuzzy.
Yeah. Counting ball.
That's cute.
It wasn't the protector actor much.
Uh-huh.
I'm behind.
But yeah, they're saying, oh, he wasn't much of a protector or like whatever, right?
Yeah.
Also, Fong takes flash photography.
Oh no! Don't do that.
Don't do that in the show,
dude.
Never.
They should have had a scene where Hack and Slash grab him and take him out.
Yes.
I remember it used to actually be common on tickets going to events.
Yep.
It would say no flash photography.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah.
And then you don't bring your phone or a camera or anything, right? And then in the audience everywhere, you see like fucking a dozen pictures like every few seconds. And you're like, guys.
It's like stop distracting the performers on stage, because we look out into the audience and we're going to see shit like that. It's like you can be off of the grid for 2.5 hours and be completely fine.
It's disorienting too, because it burns onto your retinas. So if you have that happening hundreds of times, you get fucked.
Yeah.
Yep.
I actually like the one binomes that are Matrix and Andrea.
I love that though. Yeah. I love that
he's got a gun as big as him.
So out of the way.
Yeah.
I like all the hexadecimals. Face to face with hexadecimal.
Yeah, everything is alphanumeric.
Successor, man.
Everything is alphanumeric. The musical number kind of ends with like a bunch of like still photographs, and one of them like has someone like even holding up a sign that I think said like happy endings or something on it.
Yeah.
Which again, when I watched this originally when I was 13, I was like, oh, I guess this is the final episode of ReBoot. Okay,
right?
Cool. Everything's done and over with.
It looks like the last line they repeat a few times is works well with our show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they say, now we're back together. Everything is alphanumeric. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
now we're back together. Everything is alphanumeric.
Yep, and then everyone gives them a standing ovation. Woohoo.
And that's the episode.
And that's it, folks. And hey, Ray Tracer's still here.
He is.
He is. Because he likes it right here.
Well, he hasn't gotten laid yet.
I was just gonna say, like, Mouse didn't go with him.
Yeah.
So
And I love how
he's like, I'm still holding out for a
to
chance
give him
to tap that.
credit, he stayed not sure if he was going to be deleted. So as much as I rag on him, he was like, huh, I guess if we don't get deleted, I'll get me dick sucked.
I mean, we've all seen Mouse, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I might be willing to risk deletion for the chance, you know?
Yeah.
Always having wondered if I could have gotten my dick sucked by Mouse or risk getting deleted and stick around. Easy choice.
Tough choice.
You don't want to live your whole life and then when you're on your deathbed wonder if you should have stayed. took that gamble.
For a chance to tap that.
I like the photographs, how they're accurate down to
the
them all
photographs.
being a little bit blurry. You
Yeah,
know?
right.
Like they're all kind of
and the one with
imperfect.
Andrea that's clearly drunk. There's a girl picture.
Yes, I love that one.
And Fong is photobombing it in the front, but
Yeah.
they're drinking. And
It's like-
Dot Mouse has her arms around Dot and Andrea, but Andrea's smashed. Like she's not even looking in the right direction.
The one with Bob where he has like the red eyes from the Flash, you know, and he just Enzo's there and
I
Ray
like the
Tracer.
photos.
They're just that you gotta. They're like the big ass rat party. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh!
X is there, yeah.
I'm gonna keep this actually.
Oh, the last one.
Yeah, the one.
The last picture.
Hold on. What the hell is it?
Oh, yeah, his eyes are red and like Enzo's awkwardly like looking over his shoulder and he's got like
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
The very last photo with all of them in front of the diner is a good right
That's a
before
good-
credits is a good one.
I love the fact that the two before that, Fong was trying to do the self-timer thing with
And
the
failed.
selfie.
We've got Frisket, Bob, Dot, Enzo,
Yeah.
Slash, Capacitor. Cyrus is on the roof.
No, Cyrus is being held up by
Spec.
Slash.
Oh,
yeah,
right, he's
yeah.
tiny. Yeah.
And then on the opposite side, you can see Specky standing on Hack's shoulder next to Princess Mongo.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Fantastic.
I like that.
Yeah.
And who's the first mate or whatever with Capacitor?
Mr. Christopher or Mr. Andrews.
The guy with one eye, but he has an eye patch. Andrews. Yeah.
Mr. Andrews. Yeah.
I like that picture.
It's such a cute picture.
Ending with everything is alphanumeric. That's a good. If one of us knew how to screenshot things, that would be a great upload.
I might have this saved from the internet. So
I'm actually watching on my TV. Funny enough, I can
You can take a picture of it.
I could take a picture of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretend it's like early 2000s where I have no idea how to use a
I can't
use a computer.
screenshot on Crave, unfortunately.
Crave does some shit where it blocks you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
The copy protection, yeah.
Tubi does not. No.
Yes.
Tubi gives 0 fucks.
Tubi is free for a reason. Yeah.
Because it's great.
Yes.
Because it has Beast Wars.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
Beast Machines and Transformers Armada. Cheers.
Tubi does not have
Really?
episode 16
Yeah.
of season 3.
You know,
It's
fun
the-
fact.
Stops at 15. Weird.
David Kay actually voices Megatron in Transformers Armada as well. And Optimus Prime is voiced by Gary Primal himself.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I used to watch Transformers Armada back, like I was way too old for it, but I was like I was 18 and I was like into buying the toys because I thought they were cool. So I was watching the anime.
Rad.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Well, if you want to see what Transformers mixed with Pokemon is like,
I do.
That's the show for you.
Oh, and it's on Tubi, you say?
It is, yeah. There are
Okay.
literally like little Pokemon style Transformers called Minicons.
So everyone is Soundwave.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Pretty much.
So, folks, we did it. We completed season 3.
Indeed.
Woo! Go team.
And here on Alphanumeric, we have a little something we like to call the Alphanumeric rating system.
Yes.
Here we go.
Cheers.
Yes. It is a 4-tier rating system. From
Tell
the
'em about
bottom upwards, it is. That was bad. Very bad. 2, I don't think so. 2, that was easy enough. And the best is Alphanumeric. Sniddler of the AP. What is your rating for the finale of season 3 and Prog?
End Prog.
What did Prog ever do to you, man?
I was
Have you
actually
even
thinking
been to
of that
Prague?
just now. I was like, it sounds like Prague. End Prog. Program gets an alphanumeric from me.
Alphanumeric.
It's everything's alphanumeric. Everybody's back. Everybody's happy. On to the next problem, which is, which apparently is coming
Cancellation.
real soon in season 4.
I saw
So-
a thumbnail of some like bitch with a crown. I assume is Damon.
Almost.
So we'll see.
Something. Almost here's a word. Yes, and I had a funny little. I'm always been a huge music nerd, so Christina, thank you for that. I really appreciate a good history lesson. in
Yeah,
music.
that was
And
quite the.
When I was a kid,
history.
I forgot all of it. When I was a kid, I actually watched it over and over and over again, and I memorized the entire thing. And of
You
course
memorized the
now,
song?
yes, and of course
Wow.
now, I remember nothing. So I see it about the words, but I can't keep up. It's weird.
Okay.
Anyways, yes, I liked the second bit. The first bit kind of slowed down, but I don't know, it kind of won an alphanumeric back from me because it was like how it ended.
It's you get what you want.
Yeah,
It's wholesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's go. I'm gonna go to LadyGlitch.
Hey. Oh Christ. Much like,
This is a little hard to break down, huh?
dude. Yes.
What do you think?
Okay. I think, like Sniddler said, the first half before the musical number, there's not a lot there. Christopher, you said the same thing too. Like there's not a lot there, and it hurts my little heart. But when the system gets restored and we see everyone happy, we see the Bob and Dot kiss that we waited 39 episodes for, which is fantastic. That obviously makes me very happy. And then we get to the musical number. Of course, I'd go all nerd on you guys because I studied that shit in college. So
It wasn't boring though. Like
it
I thought that was
and
interesting.
I gotta give props to whoever wrote it. It might have been Bob Buckley, but the way that they incorporated the melody in with the events of season 3 is fucking genius. It's a beautiful piece of writing, and they executed it really well. So it's gonna get an alphanumeric from me as well.
Okay. Christopher, you or I? You know what? I'm gonna leave the potential doom for last. So I said very early on that why is it 20 minutes of like sad and then 5 minutes of happy?
Right.
Couldn't it have been 5 minutes of sad and then 20 minutes of happy? So it's kind of
15 minutes of sad and 5 minutes of happy, or 10 minutes of happy anyway.
I didn't see the problem in that structure. For me
but
personally,
nothing happens.
Well, that's the thing. Is
It's
that
just
it's
so
carrying
music
on,
and like people walking around in the dirt.
It's carrying on from last episode, where now they have to like figure out like, well, shit, is there anything we can do? No, okay. So everything ends the way it does, and then it just it's kind of like nothing really happens, but you got to kind of draw it.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If the first 5 minutes had been sad, I don't think they need to draw it out.
No?
I don't think anything is gained by stretching out the first 3 quarters and then saving the last quarter for the good part.
What would
So the whole episode could have and should have been a much more wholesome, cool what was the one with Enzo's birthday?
Talent night.
Talent night.
Talent night.
One of my
Wouldn't it have been
favorites.
nice if the first 5 minutes were sad, and then all the Matrix shit happened, and then everything was restored, and then it was like a big talent night extravaganza around town, and the
But then-
little Enzo's here, and what the heck, and they just stretch that part out. Why don't stretch the good part out, not the fucking boring part?
I guess.
Mhm.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but what would any more have happened?
More good part
Because-
instead of bad part.
No, I understand.
Less
But like,
bad.
would any more have happened? Like how much story is there to tell before it ends? Because
You know what this episode is
you have-
lacking is fucking B and C plots, which is basic television writing. That's
Right.
why everything feels so drawn out, because there's literally only an A plot, and the show is wasting so much goddamn screen time focusing on that.
So
Sorry to interrupt,
when I
Sniddler,
think-
but
That's okay. That's okay.
when I think of talent night being alphanumeric, like it's so gratifying, right? If I'm just going off of emotions, it's so gratifying being like, oh, what about the viral binomes? Oh, yes. Like, all so gratifying. Oh, what about Hex? Okay, something cool's happening with her. What? Like little Enzo. It's so gratifying that I don't know how to weigh that gratification versus my critical analysis.
Right.
But if I compare it to Talent Night, which is like the best part of this, but more of it,
Yeah.
and that had a secondary plot line, Bob trying to distract Enzo, right?
Yeah.
I can't give it alphanumeric. So I'm going to give it a sufficient amount of reboot. I'm going to give it a... That was easy enough. A high, that was easy enough. But the critic in me can't justify giving it full marks. So,
okay.
Mr. Siege.
So I think the reason why Cal saved me for last was because I kind of alluded to him privately earlier, some of my thoughts of this episode. As I just mentioned, there are no B or C plots in this episode, which half-hour television, it's A, B, C plot, what you need to pad out the runtime. The show spends literally like 10 fucking minutes just with establishing shots of people being sad. It's exceptionally drawn out, and it's a waste of time. Literally nothing happens in that amount of time. The user rebooting the system is a Deus Ex Machina, which is shitty writing. It is something brought in at the very last minute to tidily like explain things and fix a problem in the narrative. And
it makes all the trials and tribulations of all the seasons, especially 3,
meaningless.
Yeah.
This is a very, and I'm coming at this from someone who studied screenwriting. This is a very poorly written episode. This is actually one of the, in terms of structure and content, this is one of the worst written episodes of Reboot I've ever seen.
Not to say that includes the musical, but the plot.
The musical, I'm gonna. As for the musical number, I don't like musical numbers. So that's just me like bringing my tastes into
That's
it.
just Christopher Siege hating fun. You know, guys.
I don't really like musical numbers. It's a riff on a classic song. I would have been more impressed if it was a wholly original piece of work, but it isn't. And a whole bunch, like the last like 5 minutes or so of the episode is wasted on that. And this was originally supposed to be the series finale of the show. We have unanswered plot threads that were set up earlier in season 3. This is this is bad, very bad. I think this is actually one of the worst episodes of the show.
How would you compare it to High Code?
You can't do that.
It's not quite bad enough to give it the high code rating, but it's I'll say it's worse than the Star Trek episode, definitely.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Ooh.
Eventually,
think
if we
about
do
that
a
episode.
like top and bottoms episodes,
Right.
like favorite and least favorites, that like this is going to be very low on my
Okay.
list.
When I think of it in terms of they were absolutely sure this was going to be the last episode, I can forgive the Deus Ex bullshit and the hey everybody, we're all alive. I can forgive that, and I love it because it's the last episode.
I can't because this is the longest season of the entire series. This is 16 episodes. They had 16 episodes
Oh,
to
and there's so much filler.
figure
Ye-
their shit out. Like,
And wouldn't it have been satisfying if they helped themselves?
yeah, fix the problem
It's-
themselves.
But at the same time, it's
I
nice
think
that like everyone's reborn. I don't know.
I actually like
I
honestly,
think
like I
being
watched
in a-
this episode this morning. I actually wasn't prepared for just how much I was going to hate it. Honestly,
Sniddler,
Like-
you had a comment.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know. I'm still trying to formulate it. Hold on. But it's not
He's
that
like,
important.
let me think. Fuck you, Christopher Siege.
I'm sure we'll be getting those in the comments section.
How dare you be so
I
wrong?
liked this as a finale. I like just personally. I liked the Deus Ex Machina I can kind of go with because again they're inside a computer. They know about the user, like inputting games for pleasure as we're quoting Bob here. I don't know.
No
as
one
a guard,
knows for sure,
yeah.
but you know who doesn't intend to find out? Bob.
Yeah,
He made no effort to find out.
yeah, that was kind of just dropped eventually in the show.
Still,
Explain
though.
yourself, mainframe.
Wow. Yeah, I really.
Yeah,
I
explain this shit to us,
again,
Mister
just didn't have a
Blair.
problem with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was bad, very bad. That's my rating, and I'm sticking to it.
All right.
All right.
We have a rainbow of ratings here.
Yes.
Not quite all the way up the totem spread out there. Have we ever done that?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
I feel like on
Not
one
yet,
episode we did.
Oh, I feel like there was one where we all had.
Yeah, we had like a waterfall of ratings.
No,
Yeah.
who knows? Certainly not me.
No.
So, what do we have next week for listeners? We have a.
We have a season 3 recap, don't we?
Yeah, we have
do.
episode 40 of Alphanumeric is going to be a season 3 recap, where we're going to talk about the third season in kind of broad strokes. I was thinking maybe we could do like a top 5 episodes list
Of
as
season
well.
3?
Yeah, season 3, yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
16 episodes, so 5 episodes, why not? We're also going to be dedicating probably about half the show to Q&A. We've got a bunch of questions in the queue now. If anyone listening to this between now and then has any questions for us about literally anything, we're open books. Tweet it at any of us. I am
at Lasercomb.
At Lasercomb.
LAZORCOMB. At NeoKal.
Yep.
NEO_KAL. At AP Sniddler. He's here somewhere.
I'm up here.
And at LadyGlitch 619.
Yes.
Also, there is a Twitter account for this show now at
That's
Alphanumeric at Alphanumeric Pod, so you can tweet questions there as well. If you want, you can also post a question on YouTube or on the Facebook page, facebook.com/lasercomb.
Mm-hmm.
Best way to support the show, wherever you're listening to this, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a 5-star rating, anything. Also, check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/lazorcomb, LAZORCOMB. We're starting at the $5 tier. You get bonus preamble audio where we spend literal hours a week before we start the show, just like shooting the shit about random things. Also get access to the Discord server. Starting at the $10 tier, you get our weekly news show, Lasercomb Tonight, where we talk about stupid news stories. And it's getting wackier with... We're a few episodes into that now, and it's getting wackier with each week. We're also going to be launching very shortly at the $10 tier, a spin-off of Too Much Energon, mine and Cal's Beast Wars podcast called Too Much Galavar, where we, on a monthly basis, do like little mini episodes talking about the current ongoing 2021 IDW Beast Wars comic. At the $25 tier, you get all of that. You also get a t-shirt. You get our monthly Too Much commentary, where we watch a hilarious or maligned movie and just talk over it.
Yeah.
Also, get the ability to pitch a show for us to talk about on an upcoming podcast. So, patreon.com/lasercomb. Helps us out. We'll love you forever.
And I think that's it, folks.
That's it. That's everything. That was episode 39.
I feel like there's something else, but
I always
kind of drawing a blank here.
I mean, we do.
Weird. I feel like that too. But... Is it because we did things in a different order?
I think it's because we did things in a different order. I think rather than all of us going around our Twitter, I think one person. Yeah, I think
I hogged all the Twitter glory by remembering your handles.
That's good, Cal. It's really good.
Very good. Very good. I think that is it.
I think that's it, folks. Thanks for sticking around. Send your hate mail to Christopher directly on Twitter.
Yep, at Lasercomb, LAZORCOMB. Feel free to at me. I will happily fight you.
Fight him on the internet. And until our recap and Q&A episode, folks, I brought biscuits.
Everything is alphanumeric.
Great Norton's Ghost!
This episode sucks. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Well, that's our story from Gladiator Arena, Los Angeles, California. For Larry Zonka, I'm Mike Adamley. See you again next week for more exciting semifinal action.